everybody know my grandparents raised me, but it was a song that they used to play all the time, and they used to sing it in church too. And the song went, "Any way you bless me, I'll be satisfied." And that song resonated so much until you put things in perspective. Now, here's this. You woke up this morning, God blessed you. But for some people out there, they're not satisfied. Some people are going into a job. God blessed you, but you're not satisfied. I always looked at life from a different perspective. And I would hear these things in church, like, I thank God for waking me up this morning in my right mind. But being in your right mind in a crazy world sometimes will make you look crazy. I'm going to use myself as an example. When I joined the military and I went off to the Navy and my first duty station was in Japan, I remember before I left, my grandmother was crying and she just kept telling me, little Rodney, I don't get out there and get on no drugs. And I'm like, what? Because I had never done drugs at home. I never drank. I didn't smoke no weed. I didn't, nothing. Doesn't mean that I wasn't out there doing stuff because everybody knows. But when I went to Japan, I remember the first time I went out and people were trying to offer me drinks and stuff. And I said, nah, I don't drink. And I remember in that moment, so many people was like, what? Like, you don't drink? Why not? I just don't drink. Then I would be having conversation with people and people will realize that I didn't cuss. And it was just so foreign. And they're like, man, you go, you cuss this, that, and other. And what started happening was we would be in conversations and somebody be like, what? What'd you say? Did you say a cuss word? And I started thinking, right, and I'm like, what is going on? But what I noticed that started happening was I began to kind of feel like an outsider, but I never changed. But sometimes I would feel like an outsider. And I began to tell people, hey, because I don't cuss, don't mean that you know what I'm saying, you fine. Or they would be drinking. I'd be like, y'all ain't got to stop drinking because I come in. But what I realized was I was the change. Because what started happening was I would get into conversations with people and they would cuss and be like, oh, my bad, my fault. And I'd be like, why are you saying my fault to me? Or I would come, into a circle, everybody drinking, and sometimes they'll put the drink down because I was the change. And see, I was having a conversation with my mom and we were talking and she cussed and she said, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, you sorry? You my mom. But what I was failing to realize was I was the change. And a lot of times when you are the change, you feel like an alien. But you grew up singing the song, any way that you bless me, I'll be satisfied. You see, sometimes where you want to be, as the kids say, God got to take you through there. I went to Japan and I kept my morals and my values. All of these years later, I can tell my son, hey, listen, you don't have to do X, Y, and Z because I didn't. See, I'm not telling you something that somebody told me because I didn't. When I was growing up, my grandparents, they didn't even go to a movie theater. They didn't know all of the stuff that I had to experience in the world. And because of that, sometimes I would used to be like, how you going to tell me what not to do and you've never experienced it? But as I grew wiser, it changed for me because they grew up in the world and they didn't experience it. So I can look at it from a way of, man, you don't know because you never experienced it. Or I can say, you've never experienced it. You had enough fortitude not to put yourself in certain situations. And because you did that, I'm blessed. My youngest son told me, he Googled me. I said, okay. He said, you wrote 2 books. Then he started telling me, man, you viral on TikTok. And I said, oh, okay. And he was just like, man, like it changed for him. Now for me, it didn't hit me until later. And I started thinking, I'm like, you know what, God, all of these years I went viral on one video. I've had 80,000 whatever views on this one video, but I've been doing this 12 plus years. Same message, but there's a message in what I'm about to tell you. Same message, nothing changed. I was on Facebook writing and everything and making these videos and getting 2 or 3 likes. But let me tell you the blessing. I became so uncomfortable because I was like, I am out here putting good word and nobody's engaging. Or what's even worse was people was engaging and telling me they was proud of me through Messenger. They couldn't say it publicly. So I got to a spot to where I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to stop doing all of this. But every time I would stop, it was just something in me that didn't feel right. But what I learned was what I thought was for me, God had something bigger for me. See, that's a message. I thought that me going to Facebook, speaking to people that knew me was the end all be all. But God was taking me through there to get me to here. And how I handle here is going to take me to there. And that's what life is about. See, a lot of us want to own these businesses, right? We want to be a boss, but you're not willing to let God take you through there. See, you got to be a good worker first. Then you got to start getting other responsibility. And guess what? You might find out along the way you don't want to own nothing. You just want to be the best manager that you can be. See, God has to make you uncomfortable in order to get you to move. A lot of us sit back and we pray for stuff and we sit and wait. You know what I'm saying? Like we say stuff like, I'm praying on it and I'm waiting on God. Sometimes God's sitting up there like, I already blessed you because you woke up this morning. You in your right mind. Now I need you to move. And a lot of times we are waiting for something and it's right in front of our face, but it don't look like what we think it should look like. Yesterday, my Wolverines won from Michigan, right? My Wolverines won. Now think about what I just said. My Wolverines won. I don't own the team, but I identify with them. So when they win, we win. But in your personal life, why don't we think like that? You see, if I win, we win. Because there's a segment of people that's in my life that might not think that they can do X, Y, and Z. But if they see me do it, they know it's possible. My son came in and he Googled me. I didn't even ask, why are you Googling me? But he Googled me. And guess what sparked in him? He started thinking, oh, okay, I can, all right, okay, cool. When I sit down and I talk to my oldest, I'm telling him stuff, and he might not like it when I'm telling it to him, but I'm always going to give you the backstory of why I'm telling you. I tell him all the time, you can't act in emotions. God don't reside in emotions. Pride resides in emotion. And if you are emotional, take a step back, recalculate everything, and then speak. Because when you're in your emotions and you're in your feelings, it never works out for you the way that it should work out. And I know a lot of times I'm telling him all of this type of stuff, and a lot of times he might think, man, my dad just talking too much, until life hits them. One of the things that I would be most upset about is if my kids grow up and they're telling someone their story and they like, man, I had it rough growing up. We probably gonna fight. We probably are going to fight because I've done all of this stuff and had all of the talks. To summarize this video, we say these old songs, and those old songs have meaning if you apply them. Any way you bless me, I'll be satisfied. And God chose you to be on the wake up list today. So what you do with that blessing is on you. If you woke up in your right mind, the ability to just get up, there's somebody in that hospital right now that wish they can just sit up. And here you go, sitting up, complaining about what the day may bring. And somebody got cancer in their body. They got to go to dialysis today. And you complaining that your back a little tight. You complaining about that it might be traffic. But you say, any way you bless me, I'll be satisfied. You see, if you come across my TikTok, my social media, it's for a reason. And what you have to understand is, what is that reason? Because there's many people out there that woke up this morning and today was going to be the day that they put in them papers and they was going to quit. And it might be something in this video. I got hundreds of other videos, and it might be something in there that might make you put cause to pause. And the thing I want everybody to understand, you know you are on your way when people try to use the old you against you. This is when you know you elevate. Because when God is causing you to elevate, you got to leave some people behind. If you are in a plane and you start elevating, it's still uncomfortable. Your ears pop. You got to chew gum because it's uncomfortable. But elevation requires you to be uncomfortable. So once you start ascending, people will use how you used to be against you. People will talk about you behind your back. I can go through a litany of people that talk about me. But what they don't understand is, if I get to where God wants me to be and you are around me, you will be blessed too. And I'm not telling you something that I read. I'm not telling you something that I heard. I'm telling you something that I know because I'm living proof. My grandparents were blessed. And it would be a disservice for anybody out there that had praying grandparents, praying parents to not fulfill the hard work that they did. See, they experienced hard work. We think we got it hard. They experienced some mess. And it is a disservice if you don't fulfill the destiny that is for you.